Ladies and gentlemen.
They say a sucker is born every minute, and if you don't know who the sucker in the room is, you're the sucker. Here are 3 things to know so you don't get played. Trust, but verify. Look to read for narcissists and Machiavellians, and speak less, and you will be heard more.
Before you watch this video, comment below. Would you say that you are very good at reading the room? Or do you often find yourself second guessing, wait, was I tripping? Was this person actually telling me to be quiet in subtle ways? You're asking yourself a lot of questions when you exit a room and feeling very self-conscious about whether you handled that experience very well. Well, today's video is all about that, how to read the room and not be the clown in the room, not be the fool in the room. Because a lot of people don't know how to read the room. And I'm going to break it down to you. How to read the room. But first, hey friend, welcome to my channel, Creating Elude Mental Gems. This channel is dedicated to leveling up in all areas of your life. So let us learn together, read together, but most importantly, grow together. Now, without further ado, let's get into this video. Number 1, how to read a room. How I was in a room wasn't necessarily called for, and it would put me in danger. So this could save you from danger. This could also help you career-wise, how to better understand the room and help you with promotions. This could help you with relationships, dating, reading the room while dating, with friendships, at parties, events, no matter the case, it works well. Or even at your family holiday dinners, it will help you better.
Biggest sign of intelligence is your situational awareness levels. You ever have that one coworker who takes it way too far at the company happy hours every single time? Or the one fringe friend in your group who always wants to hang out and cannot take a hint that you don't want to hang out with them? This is what I mean by situational awareness. Every intelligent person has the ability to read the room around them and say, am I a liability right now to anybody around me? Am I welcomed in this room? Am I making anything awkward right now? And if the answer is yes, immediately correcting course to fix that. Great example of this is the one friend in your group who always takes it too far when you guys go out. They get in fights, they get kicked out of the bars, they get way too drunk and you have to take care of them all night. That person is probably not that intelligent because they have zero situational awareness and no sympathy or courtesy for anybody around them. An intelligent person would wake up the next day and go, wow, I took it way too far last night. I feel really bad for my friends having to take care of me. Let me change my actions. Or the one coworker at the company happy hours who always blacks out and makes a fool out of themselves would wake up the next day and go, hey, you know what? I'm probably going to lose my job if I keep this up. Let me tone it down a little bit at the happy hours. Highly intelligent people have situational awareness. They can read a room and they can correct their actions when they're out of line.
Number 1 thing is to know your audience. Consider what room you're going into, the audience for your room, right? Now, if you're going to dinner with your in-laws or family or whatever, then you know, okay, there's a different variety of people that's going to be there because we don't necessarily choose our families. We're just born into them. But also, each family have their own culture. They have their own identity. They have their own thing that works for them. Every family has their own culture, right? That's just it. Everything is basically a subculture. Just like every friend group has their own cultures, lingos, insiders, jokes, way they are, mannerisms and stuff that will probably not fly in another friend group. It's not the same culture. There's a friend group you have where you can't talk a certain way that you would talk in another friend group. Just like in some families, some stuff will fly, but some stuff won't. Like if in your family, you know, my audience of my family, a little bit more conservative, cursing will not fly. Cursing will not fly. I cannot be drunk at the table, let loose. That little uncle can't be going to smoke in the backyard. You can't be coming to smell like weed or whatever. The family is very conservative, very polished, very well together. Then you know when you're going in there to know your audience, I will not be reading the room well. If I come in there already drunk, wearing a crop top with a mini skirt and, you know, speaking all types of reckless whatever, you're not reading the room well, right? But if you're going to a friend's holiday dinner with her family where everybody high, everybody drinking, everybody, then it's like, hey, you might not stand out like a sore thumb if you wear a crop top and a mini skirt. Nobody's really going to care, right? So that's what I mean by knowing your audience and fit yourself to that to kind of better know how to read the room. And I know a lot of people's like, no, Kareem, why can't we be our own authentic self, be unique? Why do I have to cater for people? Listen, life is a lot more easier when we learn how to cater to different audiences. It's not people pleasing. It's not looking. It's business 101, marketing 101. I went to school for this. Trust me. I know. And working even in corporate, it's the law, universal law, that you have to be like water. The most successful people are like water. They can take the shape of whatever they are placed in. It doesn't mean you don't have your true self. Your true self is for your friends, your spouse, your children. And even then, you got to respect them. You can't say everything that comes to your mind to your spouse. That will cause for divorce. Or to your friends. You still have to filter yourself. Be gentle, be kind. Like, that's biblical. The fool doesn't hold their tongue. They say whatever comes to mind, right? Proverbs, the whole book of Proverbs teaches you how not to be foolish and how to center yourself in a way. The fool doesn't have no boundaries, and they don't respect other people's boundaries. People have boundaries. And because people have boundaries, their boundaries something that we're doing may cross their boundaries. So we have to filter ourselves and not always be our authentic self. God will know the real you, and then people who are comfortable with you being the real you. But that's just the cold, hard truth, okay? We have to filter ourselves if you want to be successful in life. Now, if you don't care, you don't want to be successful in life, you're complacent, you're okay where you're at, this video is not for you, there's no sense in you arguing with me. So I notice a lot of times people will come on videos where the title is clear, what we're going to talk about, just to disagree. It's not for you, but there's an audience that actually, hey, I want to actually be at peace and harmony with people, and I want to not be in a room sticking out like a sore thumb. So for people like that, know your audience. Now, if you're for a job interview, for instance, if you're going to a job interview, even for like Walmart, the way you go to a job interview for Walmart or your local Publix or whatever, it's not the same way you're going to go to an interview for a Fortune 500 company. There's a different lingos, etiquette, attire, qualifications, all of that stuff falls into it. The way, just like a president, anyone can't just can you imagine somebody running for presidency that has their pants sagging to their butt cheeks? And they're wearing jeans to every press conference, to every debate. They're wearing jeans and sneakers and a regular little top with a logo on it that says "honk if you're hungry" or whatever, baseball cap, that's what they can. We all would be like, get this man out of here. There's a look for the job. There's a look and a way to be for the job, right? So our presidents, we like to see them polished, well-groomed, this and that. Our first ladies, there's a way that's just pleasing to the eyes. If you stand out too much, then that can mess up your whole candidacy, because we don't want our first lady to look like an Instagram baddie, OF model, crop top, BBL, all that down. Like, we don't want our first lady to look like that. It's not judgment, but it's like where your state of mind is. Like, it says a lot. Your physical appearance, whether you like it or not, is please. I know I say a lot of tough truth. This is one of those videos where I say tough truths. So if I lose subscribers, I lose subscribers. But can I keep it real with y'all? Can I keep it real with y'all? Comment below if I could keep it real with y'all. If you agree with me, please back me up in the comments. This is one of the tough truths. I tell you, I do tough truths on there. But how you look speaks for you before you even open your mouth. Trust me. What you wearing, how you talk, how you present yourself speaks volumes for you before you even open your mouth. How you smell arrives before you do. Some people I can smell from a mile away. So this is why grooming, taking care of your look, is very important.
The first thing I look at is I look at the hair. Does it look healthy? Does it look well-groomed? The forehead is very interesting because a lot of times we reveal stress. A lot of the things that we have gone through life are often etched in the forehead. I look at the eyes to see if they're red or not enough sleep. The small area here between the eyes called the glabella, it's one of the first areas that reveals information to us. Most often when we don't like something, we do that bunny nose of I don't like. We don't really know what our lips look like. And we tend to compress them. When something bothers us, when something really bothers us, we tend to suck them in. The mandibula, and look at the cheeks. We may do something like this. We'll rub our tongue against the inside of the cheek But when we try to hide it, then it tells me that this person is trying to do some perception management. And if they are, I want to know why. At the neck, I want to see if there's any head tilt, because head tilt, the person is more relaxed. The minute the head tilt goes away, there's usually some issue.
Unfortunately, if you are going to be first lady, it's nothing wrong with people, getting your BBL, doing your, go do you, to each his own. But it says something where no one's going to respect a first lady with a BBL. No one's going to respect a first lady with like blow doll, lips. That's just like inconceivable. No one's going to, when she opens her mouth, that's all they're going to talk about, right? You can't be first lady with green hair. You can't be first lady wearing crop tops. Do you get what I'm saying? There's a job position. You have to read the room. You have to read the room. Wherever you aspire to be in life, you have to physically match it, because it will speak volumes of you. The president of a Fortune 500, depending on the company. Now, if you're a financial company or you're, tech companies, they're more relaxed. A lot of people that are in tech, like tech CEOs and stuff, they're not all suited up like that. They're a little bit more relaxed, right? But there's different, like if you went to a law firm that's bringing in millions and millions of dollars a year, you don't want to see your lawyer wearing like casual clothes all the time in the office, or anyone in the office, like the interns and stuff. We don't want to see that. We don't want to see that. Clients aren't going to trust you with their case, right? You don't want to go to your doctor's office for them to be like your nurse to come with 60-inch nails. That's why nurses have certain nails they will allow them to have. First of all, it's a medical hazard. And second of all, it's not a good look for the hospital. And also, we're not going to trust that. And if our doctors look away, no. How you look matters. So I spent a long time on the first one, because the first one is always the most important. Knowing your audience. Where are you going? Where are you going? You can't read a room if you don't know your audience. If I'm going to a room, and I did a video on how to be the smartest person in the room a long time ago, where it's when I was wearing contacts. They were prescribed, but they were all green and stuff. I'll put it in there, how to be the smartest person in the room, where I tell you guys from experience of being in different rooms. I notice when I'm going into a room with, scholars or whatever, there's a way I have to be. There's a way, like, I have to present myself, my speech, my pattern. I have to be that way. I have to be a little bit more, thoughtful of what I'm saying. I'm not just going to free reign. But if I'm just at my best friend's house, there's a couple of us hanging out, this and that, I can talk how I talk, relax, a little bit more loose with it. But it's depends on where you're at, right? And the second thing, limit your talking, right? Talk less, listen more, observe more, talk less. You cannot read a room. Some people are so busy trying to make a good first impression or trying to impress the room that they're overly talking. They're overly talking and they're not listening. They're not allowing themselves to pay attention enough. And you miss a lot. Like, you miss social cues. If you're too busy trying to entertain, you miss social cues.
Observation, being able to read a room. Is it possible to be able to read a room?
Yeah.
How would I go about reading a room?
Okay, so if you're reading like a public area,
Yeah.
let's go back to the airport, maybe.
Yeah.
If I'm in a public area, I really want to pay attention to the slowest moving person in the room. I want to pay attention to who is more confident than the other person. And that's typically going back to speed. And if I'm reading other people well, I'm also making a lot of eye contact with them.
Mhm.
So that's also one of the fastest ways to get a read on another human being is how often they're blinking. And if a person is blinking fast, it's a sign of high stress. If they're blinking really slow, it's a sign of focus. So it's not always relaxation. So if I talk to a psychopath in an interrogation room or in a business negotiation, and they're very focused on prey, so we call that a prey focus, because they're going to manipulate somebody, their blink rate will almost be a 0. If I talk to somebody who's being deceptive, their blink rate can go up to like a 75, 80 without us even knowing it. So one of the reasons that blink rate is so reliable is that it's unconscious. We don't realize the shifts in blink rate, and we don't manually control it very well. And if all that I would ever need to teach somebody, you don't have to count or know how many times per minute it's going on, is if I'm in a conversation, I'm going to start the conversation and say, is the blink rate normal? Does it look fast? Does it look slow? So what I'm really looking for in human behavior are changes.
I find that when I went into rooms and my focus was not necessarily on entertaining, unless you're the host, right? If I'm hosting something, yeah, I got to entertain y'all. But if I'm just invited to something, I'm not focused on entertaining anybody. That's not my focus here. My focus is I'm coming to learn. I'm coming to learn about the room. Have a curious mind, because those are the most impressionable people, are people that are actually curious about people. You're coming to learn about people. Like, I'm going into that room to network, but to network, I want it to be genuine. I want to know about people. When you go with that mindset and not entertain, make a first impression, be the one liked, then you go in there, you're asking genuine questions to get to know the person. They feel that. And everyone will gravitate towards you to want to talk to you, right? And that was in the book, How to Become a People Magnet too. We talk about that. So different state of mind, and you're observing more, because if you're wanting to learn, a person who's learning talks less and let the teachers or whoever's teaching talk more. The people that you want to learn from in that room, you want to network with, or you want to learn about, gotta be your teacher. Like, they're your master at that moment, right? You're just a student. So I have to be quiet to let them talk for me to learn. If I'm talking, we're competing, what am I learning? Is it starting to make sense, right? So you got to become less in the room, less, and just like very curiously trying to know. And it's impossible to not catch social cues when you're observing more. And then it makes you more mysterious, more charming, more like, I want to get to know you. And even when people ask you questions about yourself, learn how to redirect the questions back to them. Don't, okay, finally somebody asked me something about myself. Let me spend the whole time going on a long-winded tangent, explaining things about myself. Be like, oh, so where did you grow up? Like, you ask them, they're telling you, I grew up in Italy on this farm and blah, 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 blah. What about you? Where did you grow up? And then you're like, oh, now it's my chance to shine. Hello, world. I'm Karine Alud. I'm from Lagonav, Haiti. No. It's, oh, yeah, I grew up in Haiti, actually, in Lagonav, a very quiet, nice place. Thank you for asking. So you said you grew up on a farm. Before I could even ask you the next question. Now, unless it's someone like, this different, you like a guy maybe in the room, or a girl or whatever, or someone that you see that could potentially be a future friend, and you want to really engage in conversation and want them to know you, whatever, then okay, But if you're just trying to work the room and understand the room and not be the clown of the room, the person who talks, like the Bible says, an abundance of words brings sin. The more you talk, the more you sin, right? So talk little. It is wiser for you to listen. It's impossible for you to look like the clown or the fool if you're not saying anything. You're just listening. But even when you're talking, you know how to pivot and still remain mysterious. If they're not people hey, I'm going to be your best friend forever, whatever. But if they're people you actually, I could start a friendship with you, still learn to be a better listener and practice it. If you got itchy mouth, people with itchy mouth are people that talk. Obviously, I have a YouTube channel. Y'all don't believe me when I say I do my most talking, and I record most of my videos 1 to 2 days. So I do the most talking here. Once I'm done, mute, okay? But if you itchy mouth, you want to talk, you got to practice to not be itchy mouth and listen. Okay, so the next one is fit into the room. Okay, so let the room dictate the tone rather than engaging in your usual dynamic. You don't dictate the tone of the room. The room dictates your tone, basically. How you read a room is if you come in, hey, and it's a somber room, right? So say you're visiting, you have intentions. My friend just lost their parent, and I'm going to comfort and this and that. But you coming in feeling like the way I'm going to comfort is give jokes. You already have a way in your mind how I'm going to come comfort. And then you come in jolly and all this, and it's, and you think you're doing it annoying. You're not reading the room. People are annoyed with you, like, dang, can't you see it's not the time? Because oftentimes we make jokes when it's not like it's a serious moment. like, stop joking. We're serious. Like, we're going through it, right? People don't know how to read the room with that. So no, even if it's a good girlfriend that just, broke up with her man or whatever, you come in and bring, I say, I'm going to cheer her up, and you're doing too much. Yeah, sometimes, I'm glad you got me out of the house or whatever. But if you come too aggressive, there has to be a sympathetic, like, you got to let the atmosphere too. Then the Bible says that. Mourn with those who mourn. Be glad with those who are glad. The Bible got so much gems. It was teaching us already how to read a room. If someone's crying, you cry with them. If someone is elated, be elated with them. If someone is joyful, be joyful with them. If they're in a time of sadness, don't come fully happy. Like, if you just lost your job, do you think you would feel great if you just lost your job and you got in a car accident that day? Then here comes somebody just, God has been so good to me. I just got a new job. My car did it. And they're telling you that same day you're going. And everyone in the room know you just lost your job and got in a car accident, totaled your car, and this. Everybody's kind of like, dang, read the room. It's not the time to be braggadocious. It's not the time to, let's just, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? So that's what it means, like, read the room when you come in. What is the atmosphere? Oh, everybody seems kind of chill. Everybody's vibing. Everybody's this and that. Let me chill too. Let me vibe. Or, dang, there's a lot of tension in this room. What's going on? Maybe I can cut the tension and see which way is best to cut the tension. Because sometimes I've been in rooms where it was tense and I cut the tension with a little joke, but subtle joke that's not offensive or going over the line or being, your audience too. And if the joke didn't land, then I'm like, okay, let me retreat. This tension is thick. What am I going to do? Let me retreat, right? So you have to know how to read the room, how to pivot, how to assess things, how to just pay attention, right? Of course, next is don't allow just any joke to fly. Don't just any joke with people. Don't do that. Don't do that. The easiest way to become a fool or a clown is to have no boundaries or respect for yourself in a room. Yes, I know. Pay attention to the room and then, dictate your move based on the room and blah, 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 all that stuff. So it can sound a little people-pleasy. No, have the boundaries for yourself too and know which jokes. Like, allow people to read the room with you too. That's a good way to have respect in a room. Read the room with me. Like, if I'm going somewhere and, hey, I'm not in the mood to get hit on tonight, okay? Like, my face, you will see it in my face. Don't talk to me. Don't approach me. And if you come, hey, girl, I think I haven't met. And then I keep my face straight. It's not your opportunity to read the room. No, she's not in the mood, right? And then go to your next prospect, right? That's my boundary. Don't talk to me. It might be days you're not in the mood. That's okay. It might be days that you're not. It's okay. Allow yourself to have respect for yourself too. And so that people can respect you, so that you're not a clown. You're not this. And don't let any joke, even if it is funny, but that was kind of a disrespectful joke, especially as a woman. I learned early on that I can't just let any joke slide with me. I can't let, especially if you have male friends, get too far, get too touchy, get this, get that. You got to always set boundaries, even if y'all cool, you got to set those boundaries. And if you just keep letting everything slide, it's get more comfortable. So you have to set those kind of boundaries for yourself. And I like distance. I don't like people all in my personal space like that. I don't even invade people's personal space. Don't invade my personal space. I don't know you too well. I'll hug and, salutations in the Caribbean culture, French culture. We kiss on the cheeks. Nice to meet you, darling. I'll do all of that and more. But then stay don't be like, I've been to things where the people in my face like this, I'm like, oh my goodness. I'm uncomfortable. I'm like, man. Don't invade your personal space, and you could just step back every time. And if they're getting closer, you just kind of create a distance. Like, I'll use a purse or my hand in front of me, to block off a little bit of distance to keep my personal space boundary.
5 body language tricks that you need to know to control any situation. Hands on shoulders is a dominance display which shows that the person is ready and alert and probably has something to say. 2. Pushing away from the table shows that the person disagrees with what's being said. 3. Surrogate touching, such as stroking a cup or pressing a pen against lips, means that the person wants to be intimate with the person they're with and they transfer their wishes onto the object. 4. Clearing away objects that are between you means that they feel good and they like you. While if they feel bad, they will use objects to create a barrier, like place a cup between you two.
It's not that you're being rude. And even if they read it as rude or whatever, hey, that's kind of my boundary. Like, close to my face, it makes me uncomfortable. Like, I get panicky if I don't know you that. Like, people that get that close to me, it's really, really, really a few. Like, I gotta be really, really that cool with you. I don't mind babies. I love babies and kids. I'll get all in there. But no, like, if you're a grown person, like, stay your distance. Stay your distance.
Toxic people do not announce themselves. They do not wear little horns on their head saying, I'm devilish or whatever. They disguise it. So a person who is overly charming on that first encounter, who's so nice, who's listening to you, who wants to help you and please you, that's not natural, because we've all developed the habit of being slightly wary of strangers. And I've learned through my consulting work and my own experience that person who's trying too hard on the first encounter, they're generally hiding something. They're generally conceding intentions that they don't want to give out, right? Their method of throwing dust in your eyes is to appear the opposite of what they are. And you're going to fall for that. So when people try too hard with one quality or reveal too much of a single quality, they're often concealing the opposite. So be aware of that as well.
The question is there a way of knowing if there's some sincerity or is that just an energetic, intuitive thing that comes with time?
This is why I have a chapter on nonverbal communication and the laws of human nature. We have an animal part of us, right? Where we feel certain things about people on that first encounter or second encounter that's not rational, that's intuitive. And then we don't trust it.
Yes.
Right? And often it happens in a microsecond, in a flash. You meet somebody and you sense a chemistry or something a little bit wrong, right? Particularly with women dealing with men, because quite frankly, the more dangerous toxic type will be men.
Right. Got it.
Women will often have an intuition, a sense of something isn't quite right, but they don't trust it and they go on. But we all have that feeling. Trust it. And you could be wrong, but it doesn't hurt to be a little bit wary of someone. It doesn't mean if someone is being like you, friendly, I want to be your friend, that you have to go running away immediately. It just means maybe there's an ulterior motive here.
Yes.
I'm reading body language that tells me no, that they're sincere. I can let down my guard, but there'll be a tiny percentage of me which in the days to come wants to see what's real.
If they truly, which is fair.
Because there are people, like it's a common classic case of envy, where a person who is envious of you becomes your friend. That's where most envy relationships occur, is between friends, right? And they make a point of being your friend. They're very friendly. They love you. They want to help you. They want to assist you. Wow, this is great. Because we never get enough of that in life. And then 6 months down the road, they start turning against you, start doing things that completely confuse you. Now, probably in your first encounters, you could have detected something about them already. But people can be tricky, but there are other people that you have to be a little bit wary of. It doesn't mean that you've cut off contact, but you have a little bit of distance. And the moment you see behavior that kind of contradicts that initial impression, whoa, all right? And maybe you don't become friends, you don't get involved with them. Because getting involved with a person like that is going to cost you a lot in the end. Tends to have a very animated face, but a kind of a deadness in their eyes. They're kind of listening to you, but you can hear that they're actually thinking about themselves, or they're not really connecting to you through the eyes. The face is alive, but the eyes are dead, right? There are signs, nonverbal cues that will show you that you're dealing with someone who's not, I hate the words like sociopathic, psychopathic, but who is, generally very self-directed, right? The other thing I have to say is, it's easy to judge and say, oh, the narcissist, the toxic people, but we all have these qualities.
Yes.
We all have narcissistic qualities. We all can be passive aggressive, right? So some of it you can recognize in yourself, and there are the ways to get out of it. But the main thing is to not get involved with these people.
Yeah, this is all I have for this video. Like, comment below with that, because I don't want people to go into a room and be the fool. I just wanted to give those quick tips, and I'll put this video in my business playlist, business and growth playlist, because this is considered a business video. To read the room, never be the one to, not know. And if a bonus one that I'll give is that you gotta understand social cues and body language. There's so many videos on here, body language experts. Go study them, go watch them, okay? So that you can know too. If you come into a room and you feel like, hey, they were just talking about me, it's kind of weird. You got to be able to read that. Okay? So study those things, look into those things. But I love you guys so much. Thank you for tuning in. Comment below any more tips that you have, and I will see you in the next one. Until next time, bye.